What?
Hello and welcome back to the Blubber Plays, our Tycoon 2 playthrough. We're up to the second campaign. We've got to pick starting cash, track building, or steel. I don't think the steel is good. Either of these two is pretty good. This is a make it easier to build the track line that goes from sort of about here across to here. This one says start off with more money so that you can snowball a bit quicker. I don't think it really matters too much for us.
With the wheels in motion, railroads are emerging from everywhere. For every successful line, there are 4 bankrupt ones. Take advantage of the momentum you've managed to start, but beware of some of the more sinister deals that big money always seems to bring. And wipe your chin, you got some muck on it or something.
And window sizes change, and then we're into the actual game. Pause. After the initial easy connection up and down the East Coast, the next major goal of the railroad industry was to connect to the western states, then, at that time, defined as anything west of the Appalachian Mountains. Your goal for a bronze victory is to create a continuous track connecting New York and Chicago by the end of 1870, so we got about, 33 years there? No, 23, and haul 8 loads between them. For silver, your company must have equity, so total value, of 4 mil. If you do both by 58, so instead of taking 23 years, if you only take 11, you get gold. So we start with a route between Albany, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, a medium-sized place. It's big enough that it actually wants food and stuff, down to New York, and it is actually not that bad a section of track. There's no bad grades anyway along the way. Zoom back to the right view. Do we start with any trains? Oh. And what do we start with in terms of view? Diesel or Goodwill? Neither of those is particularly good. We might have a bit of a hunt for a better person. Yep, you are amazing. Trains, 10% faster. Track maintenance is a bit higher, which is bad, but acceleration, so they are both absolute speed quicker, and they reach that absolute speed quicker. Now we have a new selection of things to pick from. Look at the speed of the Prussian. We want to have about 6, and we keep in mind that we're having a grade level of at maximum 1 across that line so far. So the Prussian isn't actually that much better if we consider the maximum grade level. And then it's competition for absolute speed. But it is somewhat more expensive. Nevertheless, absolute speed is going to be king for us here, so get rid of these, work out who's demanding what at what time. The supply at New York isn't as big as I would expect it to, so we'll start at Albany, we'll go 1, 2. Now, compared to the previous age, time has advanced far enough that we now have access to the dining car. Also, these will be a bit heavier, I think, or at least they've changed style, perhaps. Anyway, dining car. Increases the passenger revenue of any train attached to it by 20%. If there are no passenger revenues, it does nothing. Additional dining cars beyond the first don't do anything, so you can't just have 1 and 4 passenger and 4 dining cars, which is quite sensible. And we also have the caboose. The caboose, weight 20, decreases breakdowns by 25%, which means it can kind of sometimes be worth adding a caboose and boosting your speed, even though it increases breakdown rate. Because it will have, you increase this, which will increase your absolute speed, and you will be a little bit slower because of the caboose, but you will be overall quicker because you've increased this enough. But anyway, we want dining, passenger. To start with there, we go make sure that it has the basic saloon, post office, restaurant. Saloon, post office, restaurant. Now this says pickup penalty for delays in station pickup by 50%. And I didn't really understand what that did specifically as a kid, other than it's obviously going to be supposed to be a good thing. As far as I understand it now, what it actually means is you have extra time to pick up the thing. Boop. Ah, yes. And this time we're not going to forget to go change our dividend. There's no need to be spending our company money throwing it out at the shareholders. That doesn't help us achieve any of the goals in this level. In fact, it specifically unhelps because we want higher equity, which is the total balance of assets. So, like if you had loans, it would be negative. But things like cash on hand, buildings, trains, track, they're all positives. And it takes the sum of those and works out your total equity. Yeah, and now when this train gets up this end, there'll be lots of nice things to nab from New York. Postage stamp increases popularity of mail. The recent introduction of the postage stamp has increased the quantity of mail by 50%. So when we get there, maybe there'll be a second mail. Whoa! That is a lot of mail. Please get there so that we can start 2 trains then, perhaps. And we might do the same as we did last time. A connection from New York downwards. Oh no, we did Baltimore. And then up. But our map has gotten considerably bigger. Speed up. Get over here. There's mail to pick up. How much do you demand mail? Not very much, honestly. So it might be worth our time to build that second bit of track. And then do like a 3-3 each way. Oh. Now, when you get an especially fast train, you get these custom train names. So you can name things like the Flying Scotsman. And it, for the future, means that that train gets bonus income when it is doing passenger services. I don't think it applies to... as far as I know, it doesn't apply to freight. That's what I'm trying to say there. So we build that up, and then we maybe go take a loan and build another station. Do I need a big station, or can we can fit with just a medium station? And make sure that we want another train anyway, so let's build Prussian number 2. Prussian number 2 is going here, and whereas the other one was triple passenger thingy, we're only going to have 2 passengers left, so passenger dining, and then the rest mail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that should use up everything it has, but we're going to want that little bit of track to be doubled so that they don't intersect with each other and get grumpy. And then over here, we want to make sure that you've got a hotel, increase the passenger revenue of everything there. We want to check that you've got a liquid, yes, so the train that just came up isn't going to run out of water, and at that end you've got water. We might be able to get back and forth there without a water thing here. I do want saloon, post office, small. Can I afford the hotel as well? Indeed we can. And then ready, steady, cook. There we go. Go. So New York is such a big city that it can effectively take demand from both Philadelphia and Albany reasonably well. We'll also have a look at the anything around here. Now, what ports demand and what they provide changes level to level. So you demand goods. Goods are produced by you if you get steel. but I don't see any nearby way of producing steel. Do you accept iron at the moment? You do. Is there any iron available? New York and Central stock is split 2 for 1. Good for us. They're happy with how much money we made. Slow down. We're going to have a look for... This lets us look at all the resources in the world. It both tells you what things provide and what things demand. So at the moment, the city demands coal because we're far enough back in time that people use coal in their fireplaces at home, etc., etc. And we were going to look at iron. So there is some iron here, and we could deliver iron here to convert to goods and then take back. So we might consider doing that, depending on how heavy the track grade will be. That's a pretty heavy grade. 11 is catastrophically huge. What about if we ran around? Yeah, we can get a fairly low grade that way. And 4's pretty big, but I'm assuming that's downhill in that direction, not up. It looks downhill. Can be a bit hard to tell. The grid helps. The grid helps you get... Yeah, that's obviously downhill. So if I can get from here to there without too much grade as well. 3, and then here to... Yeah, that might be worth doing. That might be worth doing once we get our next delivery. What else could we do? We could do food, perhaps. So you demand grain. Are there any grains nearby? No, you're not really that nearby. There's nothing this end. And at this end, what do? You accept wood, and you don't quite accept goods cotton, because there's apparently no wool yet. There is some wood nearby. We could deliver wood to you, but wood isn't a very high value. Passenger cargo. If you look at the value of this compared to, say, goods and even iron, well, it's better than iron, but logs aren't. Basically, as with most of these type of convert one resource into another supply line management type games, two of the passengers have expired while we waited to get there. The higher up the production chain you go in general, the more value, the higher cost, the more money you'll get. We have introduced to the American, which compared to our Prussians is absolutely amazing. So we're going to go... Or I could come this way. I hadn't thought about coming this way. That way's actually got pretty good grades. So okay. And we'll say you. We're allowed to connect to we're allowed to build stations and so forth that don't connect to existing track in this level. So that's helpful, because I don't like having to build things in the exact order that makes the game happy. I want to build them in the order that I want. I don't know that it'd be able to make that turn. That would be a bit of a sharp corner. The other option is to change the angle. Yeah, I can live with that. Oh, that 7 is going to be a bit... Well, maybe we go like... Come on. That for you. And that's downhill, so it doesn't really matter. We go like that. Okay. And can we afford one of those new Americans? We cannot quite. We're going to have to wait for one more. There we go. And you only have one passenger and one mail. And then because we're going to have 2 trains running along this section of track, I will probably want to double track it, but we won't do that straight away yet. What I will want to do is look at your water level. I think you'll be able to get back without worrying, so we might leave that. American, go, and what we want is for you to pick up. Well, let's look at the gradings and work out whether we go this one, and then down, or whether we go this way, then that way. Or maybe we do each one individually. Yeah, I think that's probably the better choice. So we say you go here, 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 then here, here, here. When you get here, you wait until there are 3 irons to pick up. Then you take the 3 goods, because this place accepts iron and converts it into goods at the tool and die factory. And then you take the developed goods up to New York, and then you come back to get more. So we're also going to want you to connect that way, so that you don't have to go back and then turn around to come back. And then the same for this. So 1, 2, 3, that might be 4 by the time that's done, and we'll have a look. In which case, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ready, steady, go. So the question is, can he get over here before this guy would intersect them? Otherwise we might double up sections of this track. And although he is stronger, these iron cars are quite a bit heavier than the passengers. 25 instead of 15. So yes, he has fewer cars, but they're fewer cars that weigh a fair bit more. That said, he is also stronger, so I think he'll probably do just slightly better. Yeah, he's doing a bit better. And it does look like we're going to need to double track to prevent them intersecting. You don't want to double track underneath the train, because it makes it stop when it does the double tracking. So you're better off double tracking slightly ahead of them, like I've done there. Let them enter the double tracking, and then they don't they don't stop and have to accelerate back up to full speed. Now the other question is, do I want to do this little section? And I think the answer is also yes. Now what else can you do? You can do things like this, where you hit lock, and then even though you're not well, this doesn't return to the most recent time thing. Like if I unlock it, it's going to go back to being the Railroad Tycoon 2 logo, and telling me things like when this arrives, it will tell us the money. I don't know if it does that when it's locked. I don't think it does. Let's have a look. Yeah, it doesn't. So usually I like leaving this unlocked so that I can see when things arrive. 2, 3. 3, a dining and 2 mail. And now that we've passed that, we can double track you up to just a bit behind the train. Okay, he's made his delivery of iron. They get converted into goods, so goods are now available here. And we might as well pick up the mail while we're here, because otherwise mail will expire. No harm in that. Go! Woo! We've gotten to New York. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 2 mail. So there I've done all 4. Sometimes, depending on how much traffic you have back and forth, it can be more worthwhile to go 1 less and use the dining car instead. But I think demand will have returned, there'll be enough supply by the time the Philadelphia down and up comes back that we won't have run out of passengers. Oh, come on. You need to get there before he does. 3 more carriages, 2 more carriages, and we're safe. So we can double track out that last little bit. Oh, I missed one. Oops. No. Fix that. No. Fix that last little bit. Ah, and now we have both kind of bridges. So we can have a look at that wooden bridges only cost like 60, but stone bridges cost 200. That said, whereas the stone bridge needs you to do no slowing down, you can go across the stone bridge at full speed. A wooden bridge needs you to slow down by 40%, and I could actually have two. I could actually have two of you doing that. Okay, so we'll delete the second route. Like, instead of going here, 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 then here, 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 we'll just do that route with weights. And we'll have a whole second American doing the other line. So your job is to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And wait. 2, Philadelphia, unloading 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, perfect. He delivers his mail and goods. Oh, are you in customs? Surely you shouldn't be in customs. Why are you taking so long? Oh, because it is in customs, because the port. Okay, and you can make customs slower by doing this. Reduce customs delays by 50%. So if you're trying to get supply to or from the port, it can be worthwhile building those, because it means that at the moment my train's sitting around wasting time, not doing anything while it's in customs. And we now have enough money that we might want to look at whether we can start reaching down. It will depend on how many more loans we're allowed, I guess. Because we might try to reach down to Chicago. And if we're going to do that, if we're going to build a whole lot of track, we might want to get rid of this guy who I said is basically one of the best people, and try and find someone who makes track building cheaper. So let's have a little bit of a hunt. Engine pertinent, purchase, engine maintenance. No. Here we go. Track building, 5% cheaper. Mountain track building 20% and electric track building 40%. We're not building electric, but I still think he's going to pay for himself in terms of the cost to build all the track that we're looking to build. So we're going to save because the game isn't perfect. So you can see my old saves there from when I last played through several years ago, long ago. I replay this every couple of years because I just like it so much. You here, and then we follow the coast because coasts tend to have nice flat gratings. And that bit doesn't. There we go. Can we even do one more? Not really. Backing up, bulldoze. And that does cost money, which is one of the things that I'd also change. Like, you should be able to, if you're in pause mode, you should sort of be able to build and delete track and until you like lock it in as such. But it doesn't work like that. Now, the first question, do we jump across these rivers or do we come down here and then head back inland more? Bridges are expensive, so I think we're going to have a look at if we can avoid using bridges. That looks good. Ooh, I don't like that 4. That 4 would be pretty bad. 3 is a bit more livable. Yeah, I think we'll go like that. Turn off the grid, we don't need you anymore. Try and keep straight lines as much as possible, because trains have to slow down at turns. Like, only make turns if you really need to for grading purposes. Or to avoid buildings like that. So I should actually probably go back up one. And do it along here. Maybe not. Maybe that one turn is not as bad as, all of... Nah, I think that's better. So we'll do that. I probably should have gone one more. Now that I think about it. Goodbye, goodbye. Get rid of you as well. Come one more across. Now you come down. We're going to want to go at least to there. Possibly one more, yes. Now, next, how do we get down to Chicago? So we can come... there are hills here that we kind of want to avoid. Can we just come straight down without too much fuss? No, we've got to go around at least the produce thing. Honestly, that's pretty good. They're ones at most ones, so we'll say just a little more. Turn off the grid, we shouldn't need it anymore. And then little bandit rolls to a gentle stop. I'll put it there to get that last house. Post office, saloon, small restaurant. Now, what was the actual goal? It was New York and Chicago. New York, Chicago, at least 8 loads. So we say Chicago, New York. The first one can just do mail, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll do another one who's doing the same, but he's doing 1, 2, 3, and then dining. At the other end, please pick up something. Don't just take nothing back. You don't have to take much. And you guys are priority because you are part of the actual goal for this level. And we'll build a hotel because you're going such a long distance from here. And then the only thing we've forgotten to do now is that we're going to need some stations along the way that refill our water. And where you can, it can be worthwhile to try and position them on places that also pick up other resources, potentially. But you kind of have to balance that against the fact that you don't want it to run out of, like, say it could only get to here, from down from Chicago, the train could only get to here before it ran out of water. Then you wouldn't want it to be going from here to here on no water just to save you, or to get the extra benefit of being able to pick up resources from here with this station. So, a typical rule is about, well, it depends on the map, the scale of the map, but usually about one, the better part of one for full screen here is going to be about how long we want it to be. And then the game's probably going to prove me wrong and make me look like an idiot, but we'll see. We put a water one on you. And now we're out of money. So we're going to have to wait for one of these to make a delivery before we do any more. And I'm not double tracking this both because of the expense and the fact that if we've got 2 trains going in the same direction at the same time, they're sort of only going to overlap each other once along the way. So there's not, like, the cost to do that versus the benefit of only having them not overlap for one little bit isn't worth it in the same way as now that we've got 3 trains running this section, having the double track here means that it prevents a lot of overlap. Stock is split. Investors are ecstatic. We've got a bonus and new people have applied. And what I should have actually done before I ran out of money is, seeing as I finished building track, I should have tried to swap back to someone who does good things for us, like 50% fewer robberies and bonus revenues. You're pretty good. You're certainly more useful for me than Mr. Building Track Discount Man when I'm not going to build any more track. At least for a little bit. Boop. Chicago offers 2 million. I get given 2 million because I already connected them, which is actually very good because it means I'm going to be able to go pay off my loan. and build a few more of these. So one around Cleveland looks good. Can I get... No, I can only really get the tool and die factory. What about here? Could I get the... I can get the bakery, so we'll put one there, and we'll make it both sanding and water. Typically, I mean, it depends on how hilly it is. If it's absurdly hilly, you might actually need... In general, you typically want one that does water and then one that does water and sand. But if it's an extremely hilly region, you might need an extra sand one in between every water one. So you might need sand, sand, water, sand, sand, water along extremely hilly regions. That said, because the trains that we have at this stage aren't actually any good at dealing with hills, we aren't going to have such hilly routes anyway. Yep, 1-1. Perfect. 3. So once you have picked up your goods, I'll be able to drop you down to wait for 3. Speed up 1. Ding, ding, ding. Now, how much do you want mail? You don't want mail as much as passengers, and I want to get the maximum value out of using my dining car, so we're going to go full set of passengers. Oop. Are you going to get there before he's successfully turned around? It looks like you will. And now that you've done this, we can drop you down to 3, which will be about the rate that they accrue anyway. Please wait for a full thing. Please wait for a full thing. You no longer need to pick up the mail. Oh wow, he didn't. Huh. But you're probably going to make that turn quickly enough that you will intersect large restaurant. And now I feel silly for having purchased the small restaurants, but whatever. Oh. So, you've run out of sand. How bad is the grading along here? Not enough to be worth worrying about. And there's no one behind you waiting. So once he gets down to here and delivers the goods, actually then I might need them on here. Fine. Sanding water. Just so that they don't run out there. Train number 1. No. 1-1. You have a full load. Optimize our dining car value. Our stock is split 2 for 1. They're extremely happy with me. Check that these aren't running out of... Yeah, he's getting low on water, but he's about to pass our water point. And then I might need one between there and Albany. Let's guess that they get to Albany. You succeed. You pick up those 3. Now, what else can you do? You can look down things here, and it tells you how much they have cost in their various things. So both for maintenance of the train, maintenance for the cars, and in fuel costs versus how much they've earned. And this can help you work out whether an individual route is net profitable or not. To decide whether you're going to keep them or replace certain trains with other trains for the tasks. So typically low value goods like this iron, you'd use a higher... You wouldn't care about if it's slow because it's not passengers or mail or food or something that goes off fairly quickly. Iron you can deliver ultra slowly and it doesn't matter very much. So you could use a slow train that has extremely good maintenance cost per speed. Oh no, a breakdown. To do that delivery, whereas you would be willing to pay more money for a higher speed train that has more maintenance cost to do passengers and do those sorts of lines, so back and forth between here. We're kind of using them the wrong way around at the moment, but we're so early in the 1, 2, 3, 4. We're so early in game that we can kind of get away with doing fairly not quite so ultra optimized stuff. 1-1. Now, can you actually make it up to Albany without... No, without running out of oil. Fuel. Water. The water. There we go, sanding water. Keep you happy. Where's the other one? Oh, it's quite a way behind you. Why are you so much slower? You shouldn't be that much. In fact, you're lighter. I have a hard time believing... Oh, you were the... Okay, I thought the one that was in front had the breakdown, but it was the other one. Silly blobber. Silly blobber. Oh, but they're out of oil. So it might be worth future things making this middle one an oil one. When you completely run out of oil, your chance of breakdown goes up a lot. As long as you're, if you're below a third, I think it increases by 50% or something, and if you get down to completely zero, it like triples or doubles or something terrible. So you generally don't want that happening. 1, 2, 3 is fine. Now, how many total loads did I need? 8? 8. That's 7, unfortunately. So we might be a little bit sneaky and build one more. And just say, you, here, take those 2 males so that we get our mission objectives. And because it's even lighter than the other ones, it will be even extra quicker. Yes. Get back onto a straight so that I can marvel at how quickly you move compared to the other ones. There we go, he's already there at only 16 and he's at 24. Dun, 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 dun. I didn't quite micromanage that perfectly. And we have our first delivery of our New York to Chicago. You can just take 1 mail back. And you know what, I've got enough cash that we can afford to just say double track. I need to change the view to be able to see what I want to double track. There, that way those 2 trains won't intersect with each other. Mail demand is now higher than passenger. Let's not decrease our throttle, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what was the date that we need to achieve this by? 58. Oh, we're super safe. Damn it, they did overlap each other because I didn't do this bit. Oh well. New York. 1, 2, 3. You can be made high priority. And there was something I actually wanted to test. I think that there may be given priority based on this as well. No. Okay. I'm sure I've sometimes seen, well, I'll have to work that out more in my off time. That ones that have lower thrust settings. Get 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But what does New York want? New York wants mail more, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sure that I've seen ones with lower thrust settings sort of have priority over ones that have higher settings. 1, 2. In fact, we seem to have gotten that route pretty perfect in terms of pickup and delivery without needing to micromanage that. What we could do is double up that last little bit. And then just game speed up. And once we get here, we should have succeeded at the mission. Oh wow, we had a robbery. So what a robbery does is it removes all value from mail and passengers. Which is a bit sad. All the coins in your train get stolen. For mails and passengers, not for things like coal or... Winning with style, your grasp of rail details will set you apart from your fellow barons. No question who rides the rails of success. A fine job.
Oh, good job there. Now that the ball is rolling, how about stretching that rail to the west coast?
And so we end our second campaign episode. I hope you've enjoyed watching and will join us for Bridging a Nation soon. Peace.